Welcome to Life After the Fire, the preeminent podcast for all things related to having an amazing life after the fire service. My name is Chris Phelps. I'm your host. I'm joined today by Bill Banks with FIRE TEC, right? Did I say that right?
That is correct.
So Bill, tell us what is FIRE TEC? What do you guys do over there?
We are a company that started out as a training company, and we evolved into a gear rental business for students going to the fire academy. And that involved us into a gear cleaning business of NFPA 1851 and getting UL verified to clean and repair gear for firefighters. And in turn, we kept evolving, and now we rep for over 200 manufacturers, with our biggest manufacturer that we just became a dealer for would being Scott Airpacks.
Wow. So that's some pretty interesting stuff. A lot of stuff that you're doing there. Now, let's, I guess, rewind the clock a little bit, but you were retired out of where?
I retired out of Fort Lauderdale as a battalion chief in July of 2014.
Okay, so almost 9 years retired now.
Yeah.
And how long of a career did you do down there?
I did 26 years and 4 months. I got hired at 19 and walked out the door just before I turned 46.
All right, so 26 years. So now when did you start this this company?
I actually work for the company. It's owned by Leo Rodriguez, and his brother owned it at the time with him, Jay Rodriguez, who was a Miami-Dade captain.
Okay.
And Jay and I were friends for years and years and years. And at the point we were the training company, I was their lead instructor for special operations. Okay. And that's how Jay and I got together to work with, to do the work for the company.
So it started as a training company.
As a training company, yeah. We were doing
special ops, and
we were out doing trench classes, rope classes, confined space, VMR.
Gotcha.
And the training world just got too crowded for us.
So how far into your career did you get involved with the training company, with FIRE TEC?
That was later in my career, towards around FIRE TEC started in 2008. I would say I started with them in 2010, but I had been doing training. I started doing training at South Tech Fire Academy. I was one of the first of their special ops instructors up there. Helped them build their confined space prop and help them build their trench prop.
Okay. So probably maybe even around the time I was going to class there.
There's a good possibility. I can tell you I was there in the 90s.
Everybody remembers Nuge.
Yeah, I think I started in 93.
Okay.
And Nuge was up there along with Walter Knapp and a lot of guys from West Palm Beach Fire.
Yeah. Yeah. So you probably taught some of the rope classes I took over there.
There's a pretty good possibility.
In the mid-90s. So yeah, interesting. All right. So let's talk about where this business has taken you. So obviously, were you thinking about doing this business as a means to have something after retirement, or what was the impetus behind the whole thing?
Yeah, I didn't really think about doing this. My plan when I retired was actually to go to another department as a chief or chief officer with another department. I interviewed for several when I retired, and after long, hard, we did not want to go back to a schedule that I was bound to.
Yeah.
And working with this company, it gives me the freedom to work. As I'm off, I can take time off. If I want to work, I can work. I can be as busy as I want to be. And that's what lured me to coming to work with them and doing the work that I'm doing now.
Good. So it's given you a lot of freedom to do stuff with the family. You said you have a daughter up at Florida State.
That is correct. I have a daughter up at Florida State. One more year to go, and hopefully she'll be home and getting her career started. So it's given me time to go up there and spend time with her and go to football games and enjoy her going through her college life, and me reliving a little bit of college time.
Yeah. So, I can tell by the shoes you're wearing. You're wearing your Vans.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Once a BMXer, always a BMXer.
There you go. There you go. And as I mentioned to you, I've got my daughter is just committed. She's going to go to Ole Miss. And, my career after the fire service, I got in the mortgage business, and it definitely provides that same level of freedom, so I can be more present in the family life, and strike that, life balance. So that's great stuff.
You'll definitely have to get up and enjoy some old Miss games.
Yeah. The Grove, baby.
Yes.
And I'm a big baseball fan, if you didn't already know. And their baseball team is pretty amazing. So I'm looking forward to catching some ball games too.
And enjoying the weather and the food up there.
Yeah. So, all right. So Fire Tech now looks a lot different from when it started.
Yep. When we first started, like I said, we were a training company, renting gear and sending our gear out to be cleaned that we rented to the students. And that was our biggest expense. So when I retired, we sat down and talked and decided to become a 1851 cleaning and repair business, with ourselves being the biggest customer.
Okay.
And over the time, getting into the cleaning and repair business and learning about 1851, it was the time that around 2015, 2016, that cancer in the fire service had really become quite a hot topic.
Uh-huh.
And we decided that we needed to do something. So we partnered up with the Firefighter Cancer Foundation with Cindy L., who was the president of that foundation out of the DeLand area. We met her up at Fire Rescue East and sat down with her, and we were coming out with a decon kit to be able to decon yourself on scene. And we wanted to come out with a decon wipe. Well, all the wipes on the market, as you know, if you leave them open, they dry out, and we didn't like any of them that were out on the market with some of the ingredients that were in it. So we decided to do our own. And rather than doing a wipe, we did a decon towel, which is a 12 by 12 cotton towel, similar to a washcloth. That's a one-time use. They cost a little bit more than the wipes, but they're guaranteed to be wet every time that you pull one out of the package. And you can basically clean your entire body with the one towel.
Wow. That's definitely innovative.
Yeah, and we were innovative with putting a changing pod similar to what models use on their sets when they're modeling, where you could actually get out of the clothes that you had underneath your bunker gear and put on a second uniform that you carry in a Delta Bravo bag that's made by Ian Sargent of SGT Fire Bags, that we helped work with him and do and get into a clean uniform. Then you bag your dirty gear up. It's similar to a dry bag, and you roll it down and it stops the gear from off-gassing. So if you can't get the gear on the outside of the truck, like they've been doing with the clean cab concept, you're able to transport your gear back to the station in this bag without worrying about it off-gassing in the cab.
Interesting. And what is this? I'm envisioning like this pop-up changing thing that's slightly opaque, so you see the silhouette of the person as they're changing.
No, it is black and you see no silhouette. But we figured that with the clean cab concept, you didn't want to get back into the cab dirty, and do a changing in there and have Mrs. Smith look through the windshield and see firefighters changing in the cab. So that was the idea behind this pod, that you could actually change on the outside of the truck and get into your second station uniform. That way, if you did have to catch a call on the way back to the station, you were at least clean, somewhat clean, going into somebody's house rather than not cleaning yourself on scene.
Yeah, man, I can think of plenty of times we were, going from one job to, fire job to an EMS job, or, what have you. So
just things we didn't know back in the day. I mean, I look back and I never cleaned my helmet.
Yeah.
And since I've retired, I've been to the dermatologist 3 times and had Mohs surgery on my forehead, right where the brim of my hat sat, that I've never cleaned. And my dermatologist pretty much told me that that's from the carcinogens sitting on my forehead for a long period of time, and I'm now paying the price.
Wow. That's something. Yeah, my helmet's here on the wall. Most of that's dust. Not a lot of that's real fire, because those are white helmets, But awesome. And you said that your company now just picked up what, Scott? You said?
Yeah, 3M Scott. We are the 3rd dealer in the state of Florida for 3M Scott. Lewis, who I work with at the company, Lewis and myself just attended Scott Technician level 1 and level 2 so that we can get out and start repairing air packs. There seems to be quite a need around for repairs on Scott air packs. So we've done that, and we're looking forward to coming into fire departments throughout the state of Florida and being competitive with the other companies to show Scott.
Awesome. Awesome. Now you guys have a like a trailer or something put together yet for that, or
We have a
what
trailer.
are you guys gonna?
We
what's
have a
your plan?
trailer. We used to be a Honeywell dealer, and we did
Uh-huh.
repairs on Honeywell air packs. So we're changing over our trailer to make it Scott friendly.
Okay.
And we're also going to be buying a van so that we're a little bit more mobile
Uh-huh.
than a 28-foot trailer
Yeah.
behind a F-350. Which if we get a large department, we can take the trailer out, set it up, and be able to sit there for 3 or 4 days. And
Right.
the van will be for departments that we are going to be moving around each day. If we come and they got 4 packs, and then the department down the street from them has 4 packs, we'll come out with the van so that way we're more mobile
Yeah.
and can move around faster.
Very cool. Very cool. That's I mean, I've worked with a lot of different packs over my career, but Scott had to be probably my favorite.
I've enjoyed the Scott air pack.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes.
I think we've used MSA, Scott, ISI, Interspiro.
Yeah. When I started at Fort Lauderdale, we were wearing the MSAs with the elephant trunk and the gold regulator
Yeah.
with the coat breathing.
Uh-huh.
And then we switched over to the Innispiro, and then from there we've been with Scott ever since.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. And then as far as gear rental, I guess the way we got introduced is my son is in the fire academy, and he's renting gear from you guys.
Yes.
And it sounds like you're doing a lot of the schools across the state with that, or
Yeah, we do probably about 8 or 10 of the schools across the state.
uh-huh.
And we saw a need that the students needed certified gear, and the instructors needed to make sure that the gear was certified, because when I went to the academy, and I'm sure when you went to the academy, it was you went to a locker or
Yeah.
storage thing that they had gear in piled up. They had coats in one pile and pants in the other, and you ran in there and you picked it out.
Yeah.
And I'm almost willing to bet that the gear I had was not within 10 years like it's supposed to be according to NFPA, and
Yeah.
that can fall on the instructors. So as an instructor, we'd see stuff coming through, and it had holes and everything in it. So we saw a need that students needed gear that was certified within the time frame, 10 years, and that an instructor could feel comfortable knowing that he rented the gear from FIRE TEC and that the gear had been cleaned, inspected prior to him renting the gear and coming to the academy.
Interesting. And I just thinking back to my days. I was a volunteer at the time, so I had decent gear because it was department provided gear. But thinking of some of my classmates, it was definitely a hodgepodge of stuff that may or may not have even fit to begin with, but then also just holes, and I'm sure it had never been cleaned, and I'm sure none of them cleaned it when they gave it up. So yeah.
I actually looked at a picture of my academy class not too long ago,
Uh-huh.
and the gear that I'm wearing is probably 4 inches too long, dragging under the boots, and the sleeves are probably 2 inches too long, and the coat was probably a 44, and at the time I was probably 140 pounds and should have never been in a 44 coat.
Yeah.
So,
That's something. Well, cool. So as a business, as a business operator now, what do you think your plans are with the business?
well, I see us growing. We've grown every year. We started off with 3 employees. We're up to about 12 employees. We have sales reps throughout the state of Florida. We have about 6 seamstress on the payroll to clean and repair. We've got 4 or 5 warehouse guys. A lot of the guys are young kids that come from high school that are interested in the fire service, that are explorers with Margate,
Okay.
and they're getting some experience and learning about the gear.
Uh-huh.
And they probably know more about the gear than 90% of the firefighters on the job that wear the gear now.
Yeah.
And I think that's important. I see us growing tremendously.
Uh-huh.
I just bought some property this year out actually last year out in Las Vegas.
Uh-huh.
And I plan on moving out there in 2 or 3 years. And I'm hoping that Leo and myself will open a FIRE TEC West out there.
Oh.
I see a need for cleaning and repair out in the Las Vegas area with the 4 major departments in the Las Vegas area. And there isn't a brick and mortar store that sells fire gear or any type of fire supplies in Nevada, in the Las Vegas area.
Wow. Okay.
So I'm hoping to continue once I get out there and just getting FIRE TEC on the map and making us a leader in supplying gear and providing customer service to the fire departments.
Awesome. So you got into this business because you had a passion for it, sounds like. And it sounds like you guys have been pretty good at it, or else you wouldn't have grown to where you are today. And it's something that's, generating a decent income. So in past podcasts, I've talked about the triad of awesomeness. It sounds like you found it.
I don't think I'm quite there yet, but I think we're getting there. One of the major things that you've got to worry about when you retire from the fire service is obviously at a young age is your health insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a major killer. And then having a kid in school and college, that's the second killer. But the young people that are on the fire service, before they get hired, they need to really look at what that department offers their retirees when they leave for health insurance. It was unbearable for me when I left. I was looking at paying $2,300 to $2,400 a month for family coverage on my pension, which is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, that'll wipe a good portion of your pension out.
And then right now with the cancer bill that was passed a few years ago, if you go off the city insurance, you're no longer part of the cancer bill. You have to stay with the city insurance, and then you're part of the cancer bill for 10 years after you retire. But if you go off that city insurance, you're no longer covered by the bill that was passed, which a lot of people I don't think know.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that. So are all cities then required to, I guess, offer coverage to their employees after they retire?
I don't know. Most cities I know offer it, but I've talked with a lot of firefighters and they're in the same boat I was in, that it wasn't affordable.
Yeah.
When you retire, that's affordable when you're there, but as far as being affordable when you retire, it's not. And, I'd suggest fire departments look into the VIBA, which is some money that you can get when you retire. It's a thing that we looked into, that we started, and currently Fort Lauderdale offers $100 a month towards your insurance on the VIBA. And that's an increase from $50, and it goes on to an insurance card, and you can use it for prescriptions and doctor's appointments. It's just a nice added little benefit. And I hope one day that VIBA fund will be up to $300, $400, $500 a month for people that are going to retire, in the next 15, 20 years, because insurance is only getting worse.
Yeah. Interesting. All right. And I guess we've really covered a lot of stuff. What other fun things are you doing in retirement?
My wife and I travel a lot. We like to cruise.
Yeah.
And I also do I also work for another company where we do training for the military, a company by the name of L2 Defense. We go out and we do the special ops training with the military. So I travel once every couple months and do work with them, and it keeps me in the loop as far as what's new out there and keeps me working and doing my training that I like to do and teaching people new things.
Exciting.
And it's been nice. It's been rewarding. I can travel when I want to travel with the wife, and I can travel with the guys, and I feel like I'm back at the fire department when we go out for a week with them. And, I think I get my prankster out of me when I'm with those guys.
Yeah.
And then that way I don't get in trouble with the wife.
That's very important. That's very important. Two very important things there. Happy wife, but then the still having that camaraderie. Which is a component I think is that people take for granted when they leave the fire service. If they have no connection to the fire service after, I think that's an important piece.
I know many retirees that walk away that think life's going to be the same thing after the fire service. It's not going to be the same thing. Yeah. I'm here to tell you that now. Yeah. You have a lot of work friends. who don't translate into friends when you retire. They're friends with you at work and you see them every third day and you're brothers and you're having a good time with them. When you retire, sometimes you get forgot.
Yeah.
And Fort Lauderdale does a pretty good job of trying to hold that in check. We actually do once a month, we meet up at the Square Grouper and we have a active and retirees firefighter social. Anybody's invited. And it's usually the third Thursday of the month. And we meet up there about 11 o'clock and we have lunch and
Jupiter
in Jupiter. Yeah. We tell old stories and we lie and have a good time and drink. And it's a fun time, but it brings the active people that are on the job now together to meet some of the retirees, because those retirees are the ones that paved the way for them.
Yeah.
You know, and it's important that they know about the department and where the department came from to where it is now.
Interesting. So for our 10 subscribers that listen to the show pretty regularly, mostly people that are getting ready to come on the show. But if there's since you said you're looking to grow the business, are looking to hire?
Yeah, we're always looking to hire. We're always looking to hire equipment specialists throughout the state of Florida.
Okay.
And if they want to contact me, they can reach me at 561-441-4756, or they can hit me up on my email, which is bbanks, BBANKS at FIRE, FIRE TEC, TEC, Inc., INC.com. And I'm more than happy to sit down and listen and see if you're a good fit for the company. And if you are, then welcome to the company. The company is like family.
And then for departments that are needing gear washing and decon services, as well as Scott Pack maintenance annuals. Yeah,
they can contact me on the information I just gave.
I'll hit you on that as
Absolutely.
well. And
I'll put them in contact with their sales rep in their area, and we'll get everything squared away for them.
Excellent.
Our goal at the company is customer service. I sat on the other side of the desk, and when I wanted one helmet, nobody called me back. When I wanted 100 helmets, there were 4 or 5 distributors there ready to take me to lunch. So we treat every customer the same, and so far the customer service has been working for us. That's how we get the business, is providing excellent customer service. And I think these days you don't find that.
Yeah. What do they talk about? The 3-legged stool, cheap, fast, or good.
Yeah.
You only have 2.
Yeah.
You can have it cheap and fast, but it won't be good. You have it cheap and good, but it won't be fast.
No, and and some of our past clients, they speak very highly of us, which word of mouth goes a long way too in the fire service.
Yeah. And, obviously having the prior background, that goes miles for me, and I'm sure for everybody else. I mean, having that history, having that career, that experience, it's a lot better than, working with somebody that, I sell air packs, I just don't know how to work it, so.
Usually the sales guys are pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
They've been trained, so they're usually good, but no, they haven't wore it in a fire.
Yeah.
They might have wore it in the office, but they did not wear it in the fire.
Right. I think that goes a long way. And then for if there's anybody that you can think of that it would be a great person to have on our show, best way to get a hold of us is through email. It's info@latfpodcast.com. That's info@latfpodcast.com. Thanks for listening, watching, and we'll see you on the next one.